Well, hello and welcome to the bedroom of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Joost Elfers for October 24th, the day of sensational detail. And here at the top of the page is a visual representation of the day of sensational detail. We have us an image of, what is it? Well, it seems to be a beetle or a scarab potentially caught in what looks to be a dream catcher or a net of some sort, if you like. That, a dream catcher kind of net, but more of a bug catcher in that particular case. Now, is that an adequate representation of the day of sensational detail? Who's to say? We might be able to make some connotations about as much as we get on with the read, but sometimes we can't. But it's not altogether all that important. What is important is it's October 24th, and so it's somebody's birthday today. That's right. Hey, if it's your birthday today, I just want to say happy birthday. That's what's important. Me saying happy birthday. Now, if this video finds you late, I don't know, days, weeks, months, I mean, who's really searching for their birthday anyway? Not very many folks, let me tell you. Well, I hope you had a happy birthday. That's right. But for everyone else who's joining us randomly or more ideally to celebrate the October 24th birthday, I just want to say hello, welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Now, before we get in with the read direct, this is the DykASSt birthday broadcast, so we like to roll some dice around these here parts and live up to the namesake. That's right. But more importantly, we do it for synchronicity's sake. And here we rolled us a 5 and a 3 for an 8. Now, what is synchronicity, you might be wondering? Well, it's just you getting out into the world and let the universe show you it's with you on your path. And you do that by getting out there and looking for these numbers. It's kind of like a waypost, if you like, to show you that the universe is backing you up. It's showing you kind of which ways to go and such. And a lot of times, hey, you might even miss these numbers, but you know what? The universe has a way of getting you back on the right track. That's right. So just be eagle-eyed for your numbers. Now, you don't necessarily have to go with what I rolled for you. In fact, it's probably ideal you take your own set of dice so you can ascribe directional values to number sets and figure out time limits with which to go in those directions. But you can roll your own numbers there too if you like. That's right. The intention's there for you with your 5 and your 3, 4 and 8. But any event, yeah, so maybe you get out to the town square, you roll your numbers for like a north direction, you head in that direction for, 8 minutes, like it says, and you get to the end there, and you're looking around and you don't see anything, and there's no numbers to be seen. Well, hey, just stop, compose yourself, wait a little while. Maybe you're still not seeing anything. Look out for anomalies and stuff. And maybe you see somebody walking by and they just so happen to have a beetle on their shirt. And maybe it's not even the shape of a beetle. Maybe it's the band, John Lennon or something. It might seem like a little bit of a reach, but hey, there's nothing else out there. So you know what? Maybe roll your dice, figure out how long to follow them for, and just you taking the time to roll the dice, well, that's going to put enough of a leeway in between the two of you so it doesn't look like you're stalking them. And find out your time limit. Maybe it's, 5 minutes, say. And at the end of that time, just stop, compose yourself again. And hey, maybe you're standing in front of a building with a 53 in the address. Well, you know what? Go on in, see what there is to see. Maybe there's a business in there, and you know what? Maybe they sell Native American, tchotchkes, if you like, even though I think that's a Jewish word. Maybe a little knickknacks, if you like, even though that's more of an American word, I think. But that's the point. Maybe start to see a theme start to come together. That's right. Maybe you jump in there and the person asks what they can help you with. And you say, I'm here because of synchronicity. I'm not really in the market for anything. And they go, what's that? And maybe you show them this video. And you know what? Maybe it just so happens it's their birthday too. And maybe they close up shop because nobody's in the market for Native American tchotchkes today either. You know what I'm saying? And they join you out there looking for synchronicity. And you just made yourself a friend. And maybe that's what it was all about. That's the kind of magic that you might see, taste, feel, and, hear all the senses, right? If you get out there looking for your daily numbers. That's right. In any event, I think you get the points. Get out there and let the universe show you it's with you. In any event, let's get on with the read, shall we? Your month is October. Your day is the 24th. Your sign is 0 to 2 degrees Scorpio of the Libra Scorpio Cusp period specifically. And your quality and element is fixed water. All right, October 24th, the day of sensational detail. Those born on October 24 have two major themes in their lives, that of dramatic revelations and discoveries on the one hand, and painstaking attention to detail on the other. As they are hardly cold, analytical types, those born on this day generally feel the need to reveal themselves and their discoveries to the world, often in an exciting, even flamboyant manner. Yet most are not exhibitionists by any means, rather craftspeople and professionals who take their work very seriously, particularly from a technical point of view. The influence they work on those who watch or listen to them is calculated to impact as they wish. Not the least of their talents is a personal magnetism which aids in getting people interested in them and what they do. And October 24 people can be highly controlling personalities who dominate their family life or social circle. And those strongly assertive types, those usually have something to say. They can sometimes still say more through silence. And indeed, they often feel the quality of what they do speaks for itself, with no need for added promotion to give it credence. All right, perfectionists, October 24 people are aware of the most minute factors in their work and creations. And if parents, they will be concerned with every aspect of their children's lives. And as friends and lovers, they are extremely attentive. Actually, the dual themes of drama and detail are closely related in their lives, for their ability to express themselves so convincingly is usually based on many years of painstaking study and experience. And rarely will October 24 people comment or act on matters with which they know little or nothing about. They therefore despise phoniness and are capable of recognizing pretense and dubious information a mile away. Unfortunately, October 24 people can be very difficult to live with and work with. And those close to them must be understanding of their absorption in their career and not mistake it as personal rejection. However, if an October 24 person is absolutely mad about someone, they are capable of fixating on that person to the exclusion of all else, which of course creates just the opposite problem. And those born on this day must try to avoid dominating their environment to the extent that they arouse resentment and anger in others, and foment discontent or outright rebellion. Lessening jealousy and possessive impulses may also be necessary if they wish to progress further in their personal development. They should also recognize that a highly critical attention to detail in the human realm can put those around them under too much pressure and scrutiny, and that having fun is a great antidote for stress. Well, all right, quite the dynamic, surprising day in a lot of ways. Let's dive into some notes that I wrote about the breakdown. Provide a little bit of a commentary if you like here. All right, where are we? I'm on the wrong page there. Here we go. October 24, day of sensational detail. All right, two major themes, that of dramatic revelation and attention to detail. Not cold or analytical types that claim by the reading. You may feel the need to reveal yourself and your discoveries to the world, which is something that my birthday reading conveys as well to some extent, but which I really didn't believe at first, all in all. But, upon reflecting on as much, and after I kind of saw that was the case, it was just like, kind of magic happened. And then I kind of leaned into that, and I saw that it was working for me a lot better than I would have thought something like that might work for me. So I don't take that with a grain of salt, but that's just one of the benefits that I found, and I thought I'd bring up because I tend to share that in a little bit. Now, what else do I have to say here? I was very surprised by as much. Now, while I don't go in with an exciting or flamboyant way of doing as much necessarily, the reading claims that you do. All right, and despite most not being exhibitionists, instead you're most often technical professionals and craftspeople who possess a magnetism that aids in your influence at captivating attention. All right, that said, you can apparently be controlling, dominating personalities, either showcasing your strength through silence or strong assertions. You're also said to be perfectionists, and the quality of your work speaks for itself. But that may translate over to be controlling parents and extremely attentive friends and lovers. Now, whether that's good or bad, I suppose, is all about balance, all right, which is often the case with the people born about over the last week or so. A lot of that latter Libra energy. I know you're a Scorpio, but you are part of the Libra Scorpio cusp, so you still have a little bit of influence with the Libra stuff there. So balance might just be a theme in your life here. What else do we have? Apparently, you also commit yourself to painstaking study and convey your experiences, as was kind of said earlier, but you abstain from comments on things you don't know about. And personally, you know what, I find that refreshing, and it also something I effort to do as well, which also carries over to despising phoniness and a capacity to identify as much when you see or hear it. But you're also difficult to live and work with, the reading says, for an unexpected surprise from me. And as you can dominate the environment, be absorbed in your career, and also possess jealousy and possessive impulses, and breed a kind of walk on eggshells mentality for those around you who think they're being hyper scrutinized. That being said, I thought this was a really well-rounded birthday. Showcased some strengths, showcased some weaknesses, and also a couple ways to maybe reconcile that. Sometimes they don't really get into the advice in the breakdown right off the bat. So in any event, that being said, let's dive in with your numbers and your planets. That's right. Those born on the 24th of the month are ruled by the number 6, as 2 plus 4 equals 6, and by the planet Venus, because those ruled by the number 6 are magnetic in attracting love and admiration. And since Venus is strongly connected with social interaction, it will be a temptation for October 24 people to give themselves over to exciting romance and sexual experiences. This is pointedly emphasized by the fact that the signs bordering their cusp, Libra and Scorpio, are ruled by the planet Venus and Pluto, respectively. And often love becomes the dominant theme in the lives of a person ruled by the number 6. All right, hey, what I have to say about your numbers and planets. First and foremost, a lot of Venus influence there, especially with your number factored into that as well. And they don't speak much about numerology. They kind of bring it up in passing, but hey, that's a note there. So maybe you look for that on your own. The number 6. All right, the number 6 and the planet Venus for magnetic, social, love, and admiration qualities. To the extent you may give yourself over to exciting romantic and sexual experiences. Probably a heightened Venus influence, what with the day and the co-cusp rulership, which may in fact overshadow the Pluto traits of volcanic energies. Now, not much is said about Pluto day to day, and going by what's said elsewhere in the book, it isn't really treated the same as other planets, except to say it represents money, power, sex, and the intolerable forces in our lives. Why no days are ruled by Pluto specifically, I couldn't say, but that's here nor there, because you've got the power of Venus on your side specifically. All right, so that's been your numbers and your planets. Let's dive in with your tarot. That's right, one of the more eclectic of the New Age metaphysical philosophies. But if you're like me and you don't necessarily buy into that, hey, you know, we don't have to take it home and start dealing the cards out to influence our every whim and decision. But hey, it's in the book. It's your birthday. Let's open ourselves up some new horizons. It's fun. See what it has to say. Emphasizing this last point is the fact that the 6th card of the major arcana is the Lovers, symbolizing the love that unites all of humanity through integration of masculine and feminine polarities. On the good side, this card indicates affections and desires of a high moral and aesthetic on the physical plane. And on the bad side, well, it suggests a propensity for unfulfilled desires, sentimentality, and indecisiveness. Well, all right, what do I have to say about your tarot here? The Lovers, all right? More Venus power, ostensibly, symbolic of love that unites humanity and integrating the male and female polarities. Symbolic, I missed the part here. Positives of a high morale and aesthetic desires, but a propensity for indecision, sentimentality. I never can savvy why sentiment rather, is a negative. And perhaps, I don't know, because one can get mired in it, perhaps. And that's something they said you kind of do there. But I would argue this previously mentioned jealousy and possessiveness should probably get mentioned, though perhaps that falls in rank and file with them in a fashion, kind of like I just said there. I got ahead of myself, apparently, doing the ad lib. So, in any event, that's what I'd say about your tarot. It's a little bit of a copy paste job, and I know I just kind of repeated a little bit of it too, but hopefully I threw something in there for you to consider. That being said, with your tarot in the can, as it were, let's move on to your health. All right, your health. Those born on October 24 can engender all sorts of stress-related difficulties, both in themselves and those close to them. Finding a way to schedule regular vacations, take time off from their career, and generally make a division between work and home is essential for their good mental health. Physically, they must be aware of sexual excesses of all types, emotionally, of possessiveness and jealousy. Addictive tendencies may surface, particularly in the areas of work, sex, and love. And those born in this day should make their sleeping areas comfortable and inviting, and protect themselves from nocturnal disturbances. Food-wise, October 24 people face little in the way of restrictions, but must not neglect daily bouts of quite strenuous physical exercise to keep their back and internal organs as well as their figure in shape. Well, all right, hey, what does it say about your health? A lot of the sexual themed stuff, and it just so happens we're in the bedroom. You know what? I don't necessarily choose that. It's kind of like in a certain order it goes, and it just so happened to land on your birthday. So how about that for a little bit of synchronicity there? That's right. In the event, back to your health here. You can engender all kinds of stress-related difficulties in yourself and those close to you. So mind your influence and your hyper-focus, I would suppose. Take yourself some regular vacations, some time off, and separation between work and your private life is emphasized and suggested. But if that can't be done, I'd say find a way to take some time out for mindfulness, all right? Maybe schedule some acupuncture. That's something I've been liking to do to take some time away, get myself out of my environment. And then I take the time to meditate while I do so. Beware of sexual excess, it says. It's not mentioned very often. And actually, neither is addiction to as much. That might be the very first time for that. So maybe be mindful of as much, if it even applies, or just take note. Making a sleep area comfortable is an anomaly also. I've only read that one other time. So again, maybe take note of that. Let's see here. But strenuous daily exercise, it says, and no real diet issues or restrictions, surprisingly. But perhaps that's why they suggest the strenuous exercise. Now, that might seem like it's kind of a generic type deal, but let me tell you, they do vacillate in those particular areas quite often. So it's not a copy-paste thing in any regard. Sometimes they don't even mention it. So maybe take note. Strenuous exercise, no real dietary restrictions. But again, take that in earnest. Things have come a long way since this book was published back there in 1994. So that being said, that's been your health. Let's move on to some advice. All right, your advice. Learn to leave things alone sometimes. You don't have to understand everything, or worse yet, attempt to control it all. Jealousy is not easily curtailed if it becomes a way of life. And sometimes you decrease your power by revealing everything you do. Oh, that's interesting. I should take note of that as well. All righty, what do I have to say about your advice? I had to write it in the book itself because I ran out of space in the notebook. All right, so leave things alone sometimes. It seems to be a theme because that carried over from yesterday a little bit. So maybe that's a Scorpio Libra type cusp kind of thing. Who's to say? You don't have to control or have a hand in everything, kind of what they said there, especially other people's stuff, right? Don't understand, don't have to understand or attempt to control everything. And it frees up your plate too, I would argue. So less things to worry about, more time for yourself. And if you stress out about a lot of things and you're a perfectionist, that's all the better. It's less you have to worry about. I think you get it. What else do we have here? Through that kind of, though that energy is enviable, all right? So maybe put that to work elsewhere. Some more productive. I think first thing that came to mind for me was learning a new language, because my mind shuts down with that kind of thing. But I think it would be very beneficial to do so. So if you don't have those problems, get out there, learn a new language or something in that vein, because it's definitely going to take a lot of energy. And so, yeah, you can put yourself to work on that. Let's see here. It's mentioned jealousy, and all I really wrote was it's a slippery slope, because it said with you it can compound and get, I know they didn't use that word, but they can compound and get out of control. So be mindful to avoid it in the first place. Decrease in power by being revealing. That's right. Maintain an air of some mystery. All right. Remember, most folks actually probably don't care anyway, at least in my experience. But I'm also not magnetic in a stretch of the imagination, so there might be a difference there. But I would say, yeah, most folks are too self-consumed to care about what you might have to share with them. All right, in any event, I could be wrong. But that said, that's your advice. So let's take the energy down just a hair, I'll catch my breath a little, and move on to your meditation. All right, your meditation. Life itself may be only a series of illusions. So why not pick those which bring us the most enjoyment? All right. Hey, once more. Life itself may be a series of illusions. So why not pick those which bring us the most enjoyment? All right, that's your meditation. It's your birthday, your meditation. I'm not going to throw some spin on it and try to influence it for you. I might just throw a perception on it that doesn't do you any good. So that's just for you. All right, so your meditation in the can, as it were. Let's move on to your strengths and weaknesses. All right, let's do the work. Can you guess what they are here? Your strengths, first one up, you're magnetic. You're a perfectionist, and you're also dramatic. And your weaknesses, all right, let's do the work here. You're jealous, you're claiming, and you're overstressed. Oh, overstressed. Hey, we addressed all of that stuff. So you know what? Room for improvement. You found they gave you advice for what to be mindful of. And you know what? Maybe we didn't realize that we had those things in our back pocket there. So you know what? Maybe just hearing them makes you mindful of it. And so then you can address it or be objective about it and ask yourself if it even applies. That being said, that's your strengths and weaknesses. So let's move on to those born on this day. That's right. And when we get into those born on this day, something I like to do is focus on something I find important. Not just seeing who shares your company, though that's pretty interesting in and of itself, but focusing on figuring out our passions. You see, I get out in the world and I meet a lot of folks and ask them what they do, and more importantly, if they like it. A lot of times they don't. And strictly speaking, I think that's just because they haven't had the time to put into work to figure those things out. Because a lot of times that's what it takes, time and work to figure out your passions. And even if you know what they are, how to make them work for you, or how to translate that into some kind of financial viability. Because you know what, we got jobs we got to commit ourselves to in order to provide security for our way of life. And then, you know, you get home at the end of the day and there's no time or energy to put in things for your own edification, if you like, or to put into work to figure out your passions. So in any event, I think this is the perfect opportunity to not only see who shares your company, but to see what put them on the map. Now, it might not have been their passions, but hey, just that mindset going into it. Maybe it'll provide you with a little bit of inspiration. So let's get into it here. We have Antoine van Leeuwenhoek, a Dutch microscope inventor, a naturalist, and a microbiologist. And it says, made early observations of bacteria. All right, we also have Pierre Gilles Degens, a French Nobel Prize-winning physicist of polymers and liquid crystals. We also have Kevin Kline, the stage and film actor. F. Murray Abraham, another stage and film actor. Kalfried Goff Duckerheim was a German philosopher and Zen Buddhist authority and writer of Absolute Living. We also have Denise Levertov, a poet of Here and Now. Dame Sybil Thorndike, a British stage actress, writer, religion, and the stage. A lot of actors come off with that flamboyant exhibitionism there. Bill Wyman, a British bassist of the Rolling Stones. We have Marion Cooper, film director of King Kong, producer, adventurer, war pilot, and shot down twice, it says. He founded Agro C Pictures with John Ford. We have Moss Hart, a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright, Sonny Terry, the blues harmonica player, Luciano Berio, an Italian 20th century composer, Y.A. Tittle, a New York Giants, San Francisco 49ers football quarterback, and a four-time All-Pro MVP. Juan Marshall, a baseball pitcher, six-time 20-game winner with the San Francisco Giants. We also have Marshall Goldberg, football halfback, two-time All-American, and the Chicago Cardinals star. We also have Victoria Enya, Scottish-born Spanish queen. Rafael Trujillo, Dominican soldier and dictator, and he controlled the republic for over 30 years. But was assassinated. We also have the Big Bopper, the rock and roll singer who died on that ill-fated flight with Buddy Holly and Richie Valens, Tito Gobbi, an Italian opera singer, and Cheryl Studer, a soprano. So how about that? We had all sorts of different people, ran the gamut: scientists, writers, actors, performers, dictators, and people who started their own businesses, and a lot of athletes too. So there's a whole gamut of inspiration you could take. I know it's a big ask and a tall order to try and figure out your passions from as much, but hey, like I said, maybe just hearing as much is going to stir up the fire to get you to figure that out for yourself, if you don't have one or know how to put it into practice. In any event, with that being said, those born on this day being completed, that essentially rounds out your birthday reading, except to say your season is fall. Your sign, once again, is Scorpio of the Libra Scorpio cusp, and your quality and element is fixed fire. And this has been The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Hugh Stelfers for October 24th, the day of sensational detail. I have an affiliate link for this book down in the description if you're interested in diving in further and finding out more about not only yourself, but other people you care about. It makes a great coffee table book to that end, especially if you're going to have some parties. It's going to help get the ice broken in a literal or a figurative fashion, considering its girth, especially if you get the hardcover there. You can smash it on a table there and get your drinks going. But none of that's important. What is important is it's someone's birthday today, and wishing you a happy birthday once more. That's what's important. But like I said, if I found you late, hey, I hope you had a happy birthday. But for everyone else who joined us to celebrate, I just want to say, hey, I hope you enjoyed yourself and you join us for your birthday read. But lest we forget, your daily numbers. That's right. Take some inspiration, get out there and let the world or the universe show you it's with you on your path. That being said, that essentially rounds out your birthday completely there. So yeah, once again, happy birthday. Take care of yourselves.